win. D. Wood, why will the Bills win against Miami?
Well, we know that the Miami Dolphins, they like to bring a lot of pressure. They can't really get there in force, so they bring a lot of pressure and expose their back end, their secondary. And we know that they've given up a lot of yards. And I think Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis and company will be able to have plenty of opportunities to expose the back end of the Miami Dolphins defense.
Dominique, why will the Jaguars win against the Chargers?
Well, it has less to do with the Jaguars and more to do with the Chargers. I think Brandon Staley's decision to play his starters in a pretty much meaningless game last week is led to some ailments for both Mike Williams, their probably most productive receiver at this point, and Joey Bosa, their best defensive player, I guess neck and neck with Derwin James. So those issues may be too much to overcome for this team.
And then Canty, why will the Ravens win if they do Sunday at Cincinnati?
It's going to be because of their defense, G, and that's no surprise with Baltimore. Since they traded for Roquan Smith, that defense has allowed 10 touchdowns across 91 drives, which is absolutely elite. And then no Alex Kappa, no Lyle Collins for that Bengals offensive line. The Bengals, in their 4 losses, their offensive line has allowed the 4th highest sack totals in all of those games. So hit Joe Burrow early and often, exploit the right side of that Bengals offensive line.
To be clear, doesn't mean he's picking it. I'm just asking him, if they win it, why will it be? And that would be the reason. Now, let's go to the Ravens here because, as I've told you, today is a critical day in Baltimore as Lamar Jackson continues to nurse a left knee injury that's kept him sidelined now for the last 37 days. We've told you they play Cincinnati Sunday night. Lamar Jackson is 6-1 against the Bengals during his career. Of course, the Bengals haven't always been the team that we know now during that time. After missing a total of just 2 games through his first 3 seasons, Lamar has now missed 10 over the last 2 seasons, and Baltimore is just 3-7 without him over that span, 15-9 with him. So, what is at stake for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens? It feels on some level like absolutely everything. And why is today so critical for that relationship, Kimberly?
Greeny, Wednesday is the day where you guys know this is the most important day of the week from a game planning perspective and prep. Now, I understand Lamar, it's been 5 weeks that he's been sidelined. And from all accounts, he's still sort of favoring that knee. He's not 100%. And if he's not on the field Wednesday, then you start to think, well, how much time does this guy have to prepare for the most important game of the season? And even if he is on the field, my question is, what Lamar Jackson are we going to see? Because if he's compromised in any way, that plays right into the Bengals' hands.
And to be clear, we're not just talking about the little picture, which is this postseason and this game Sunday night. But we all understand that there are larger forces at play here, contractually and otherwise. And you mentioned Roquan Smith and how good he's been since they got him. Did you see yesterday, sneaky, huge news? They signed Roquan Smith to a lengthy and enormous contract extension. And in the first sentence of the news story, it said, which frees up the franchise tag if the Ravens choose to go that direction. Why are you shaking your head with Lamar Jackson?
No, because they've already told Lamar Jackson that we're not going to give you what you think you're worth when you're healthy. What happens when you go out there in a playoff game and you're physically compromised with that PCL in the knee? It just doesn't make any sense to put yourself at risk. But Greeny, that's why most functional franchises don't let a quarterback go into a true contract year, because they recognize how important that guy is to their team's success. So now the Ravens are faced with this situation of their own making where you need Lamar Jackson the most. There's the potential that he's going to be unavailable.
So the bottom line, Dominique, if he's not healthy enough to practice on a Wednesday, considering everything that is at stake here again, bigger picture versus small, what in the world would make anyone think he's going to be on the field Sunday?
Yeah, I guess it's just his passion or desire, which I guess that's one thing, but that ain't putting food on the table, and that's not covering the value that you're actually worth. If I'm Lamar Jackson, he's a better man than me, but I'll be quiet quitting on the Ravens until they gave me the money that I deserve. Just walking around there like, I don't know, my knee hurts a little bit. But I do understand why Lamar would not be motivated to play. But in the Ravens' defense, like, I understand why they would not want to pay him what he wants. If what he wants is the Deshaun Watson deal, if I was the Ravens front office, I would say just because the Browns are dumb doesn't mean we have to be. Like, giving a fully guaranteed contract to a quarterback who is underachieving is a cautionary tale. So, like, I get both positions, but
Underachieving?
done?
Oh no, I'm saying looking at the Browns. The Browns gave a fully
okay,
guaranteed
keep it going.
contract
That's fine.
to
That's
a
fine.
quarterback
Go ahead.
that's underachieving.
Right.
Whoa! I'm not here for Lamar.
Clarify for me. Clarify for the people.
How dare you? I'm arguing. Pay
I'll
that
take it a
man
step
or
farther.
quiet quit.
We have cited chapter and verse just how terrible offensively the Ravens have been
my
since
God.
Lamar Jackson has been hurt. If I'm Lamar Jackson, and I look, you say of me whatever you want, I would be standing on the sideline during this game holding up a sign that says, "See, they stink without me." That's what I would be doing, D. Wood. How about you?
Listen,
Come on, Bishop. What would
we've
you
all,
do?
we've all been in contract negotiations before, and I can see how this whole thing gonna play out. Lamar Jackson gonna come back, not gonna be the Lamar Jackson that we've been accustomed to seeing, and then he goes out there, doesn't play to the level that we've been accustomed to seeing, and then after the year, the Ravens organization will be like, you see?
Yeah.
You see that? You see? This is why we can't give you that, because teams always do that. You try to, I'm going to play with my brothers and do this and do all that type of rhetoric.
Yeah.
But the team's like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the business side, they hold that against you. So don't think Lamar Jackson ain't sitting back like, man, do I really want to be out here when I know they're going to use it against me?
I think he does have that thought. But this is why a lot of us were saying at the start of the season, at training camp, the end of training camp, don't step on that field. Because Lamar saying, I want to be out here with my guys, like playing with my teammates is more important. It's like, that is great. We love that about you. However, you being on the field without the guarantees, it could come back to bite you. We were worried about potential injuries, and up until the end of the season, it seemed okay, and now we're talking about that.
Well, look, I mean, I cannot begin to tell you the number of people that are tweeting, texting, and otherwise sending me messages saying the Jets need to get Lamar Jackson, the Jets need to get Lamar, which only brings into, I bring that up solely because the notion that Lamar Jackson could be in play this offseason, that we could actually be seeing the last of him in a Raven uniform, does that feel real to you?
Yeah, it does, because I know the Ravens have the ability to franchise tag Lamar Jackson, but he also can decline it and not sign it. And so that puts them in limbo in terms of what they're going to do moving forward, having that cap hold with the franchise tag, and then Lamar Jackson, an MVP quarterback that's 25 years old, just sitting there for somebody to swoop in and pick him up. So I think this is a very complex situation, but Greeny, the longer this plays out, it feels like it continues to open the door a little bit more for Lamar Jackson to leave ball.
Why are you laughing?
No, because the crazy thing is, the Ravens organization literally built this whole thing around Lamar Jackson. You franchise tag, Lamar said, throw up the deuces like, I'm not signing this. What do you do if you're the Ravens? When
Well,
the whole thing is built around one guy.
Why it didn't make sense not to give him the money in the offseason. I understand your point about the Browns, but every quarterback that's lined up behind Lamar Jackson should literally just write down 230. They all should.
It's Burrow this year. It's
Herbert.
Herbert,
You're gonna have Herbert,
this year.
yeah.
It's all the others who are going to be in that position.
Yeah, I fully agree. They should have paid him. I was just presenting the other side of the argument. I don't got those type of guts to have an MVP level quarterback hanging around on a franchise tag and being upset. I think the interpersonal nature of like managing a team, we don't think about it. We think of everything like a franchise, like we're playing fantasy football. But the fact of the matter is, Lamar Jackson is the heart and soul of that organization.
Yes.
Having him unhappy has like some residual effects that you can't account for.
No, look, I think Ryan Clark said it well earlier this season. He is a system quarterback. He's the system.
Yeah.
The whole system is Lamar Jackson. And by the way, he's still young. He's the same age as Stetson Bennett, who just won the national championship in college the other night. All right, we're just getting rolling. We're going back to the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, what is going on? He has just not played like